Welcome to Bluff Creek Podcast Radio.
I'm Elena.
And I am Sean.
And today's special guest is
Michelle Barber
from
CHANHASSEN Dinner Theater.
Thank you so much for joining us.
You
today.
are so welcome. I'm so delighted to be here with both of you.
So, what pets did you have when you were little?
Well, growing up, we had a bunch of dogs and a bunch of cats, but the one I really remember, his name was Cash, and he was a golden retriever. So when I got married and had a daughter, Kat Brindisi, who's also in the theater, we got a golden retriever. And a nice little story about her, and she named him Herman, which was really odd because all the pets that we had before when she was little, she named after Disney movies. So we had a Jasmine the bird, and we had a bunch of different animals with Disney names from Disney movies. And then this one, Herman came, and I said, Herman, why did you call him Herman? She goes, I really like the name Herman. And before she had asked why, she was just the only child in the family. I said, because we like you the best, and we didn't need to have anybody else, just you. So I went to work that night, and I said to my musical director, Kat named our dog Herman. And he said, oh, you know what Herman means, don't you, in ancient Greece? And I said, no. And he said, it means little brother. So I don't know if my daughter knew it, but we named our dog a little brother so that she could have a little brother, which was really a sweet story. But Herman became my golden retriever. He became my running partner because I'm a runner and I like to run, and so did Herman.
What age did you start acting?
Well, I started early. My whole family was musicians. So I've been singing my entire life, my whole life. From the time I was 3 years old, I was singing. And my dad was a jazz pianist, and my mom was a singer, and all my siblings, I have 2 brothers and a sister, and they're all in music professionally now. So I started doing commercials, and I did what they call voiceovers, which is when you talk, and I think I did, Cloverleaf milk makes one proud to be a cow. And I had to do it as a kid. So I was a little kid when I did it. I think I was 8 or 9 or 10, somewhere around there when I first did it. And then from there, I started doing more commercials, but singing commercials. You called them jingles. And so I would do singing commercials. I did one for McDonald's, and I did them for Yoplait Yogurt and a bunch of different companies. And that was really fun because I worked a lot with my brother Billy, who wrote them. And then I was at the Children's Theater when I was 15 years old, Children's Theater in Minneapolis. And I really started getting more into theater there because the rest of my brothers and sisters stayed in music. But I liked theater as well. So I went to Children's Theater and I did some shows at Children's Theater. And it was from there I went off to do college. But I kept working the whole time, so I've been working ever since as a musical theater performer and also as a straight show performer. So I do drama and I also do musicals.
What was your favorite play that you were in?
Well, it's usually the one that I'm in at the present time, which right now is Mary Poppins, and I'm playing the Bird Lady. But I did just get done with Hello, Dolly, and I got to play Dolly Levi, and that was a really, really fun show. And you saw that, Elena, didn't you? Which was really fun at the Dinner Theater. And so that was fun for me to do, and I like doing... actually, I did a show with the composer of Shrek. I didn't do Shrek, but her name is Janine Tesori, and I did a show at the Guthrie called Caroline or Change, and I played the grandma in that show. And that was a really cool show. So if you ever get a chance to see Caroline or Change, try and see it because it's really a cool play. And it's a musical and really cool music, and it's by the same woman who wrote Shrek, so you know the music's good. So there's a lot because I've been in, lots. I've been in over 80 shows. So I think that there's so many roles that I do like that I can't really, and I played Grisabella in Cats, and I did just Adelaide and Guys and Dolls, and I'm coming up, there's going to be a show coming up next January, because we have to book way far ahead as actors, that I'm going to do, it's called Gypsy, and I get to play Mama Rose, and that's going to be at the Pantages Theater downtown Minneapolis. So it's a lot of different stuff, and that's a role that everybody says is a dream role for actresses, because it's a really fun part.
What kind of hobbies do you have besides acting?
Hobbies would be running. I love to run. I'm a runner. I don't do big long runs anymore. I used to do marathons and stuff like that, but I don't do those anymore because my hip, I get older and your hips start creaking. So there you go. You can't run those long miles, but I love to run still. So that and cooking. I'm a good cook, and I like to cook. I like to cook new stuff and nummy cookies and right? Cookies right now would be pretty good.
What marathons did you run?
Twin Cities. I did the Twin Cities Marathon, and then my biggest thing that I would do is triathlons. I like triathlons a lot, and I did a lot of half marathons, but I made a goal of doing at least one marathon, and so I did the Twin Cities, and then my hip said, no more marathons for you, but I still run, and I still do 5Ks and 10Ks and stuff like that, so it's very fun.
What were some of your major plays that you were in?
Well, name a play, and I was probably in it because I've worked at Chanhassen Dinner Theater now on and off for about I met my husband there, who's the director there. And I was doing Annie Get Your Gun. I was playing Annie Oakley and Annie Get Your Gun. And Chanhassen Dinner Theater at the time had 4 theaters running. And my husband, Michael Brindisi, the artistic director, Brindisi's Pub, I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's a really fun place for a hamburger. He was downstairs doing another show because he was an actor at the time. So we met there. And then we went off and started our own theater, and we did that for 4 years together, and then we worked another theater for 4 years, and then came to Chanhassen, and he became the artistic director. So since then, I still work. I work at other theaters here, and I go on there. Sometimes I was in Syracuse, New York, doing the same Carolina Change with Janine Tesori, and then I came back. So I don't go out of town very, very often, but I'll do that every now and then. So really, every play that Chanhassen has, I did Jesus Christ Superstar, and I did, it's just Brigadoon I did, and it's sometimes hard. You forget how many plays you've been in, and you can't even think of what they are. Hello, Dolly, I've done twice. And actually, I played Dolly this time, and the last time we did Hello, Dolly was 20 years ago, and I played Irene Malloy, Mrs. Malloy. And this time around, when I played Dolly, my own daughter, Kat, played Mrs. Malloy, which was my role 22 years ago, and now she plays it. So that was really fun to actually act with my daughter. So on a Spring Awakening I did, so it was very, very fun. And this is a good town for theater, so if all you guys are into theater, stay in the Twin Cities because it's a great place to work.
How often should you redo your headshots and resumes?
Your headshots and resumes really ideally should be done about every 3 years. I don't know one actor in this town who gets them done every 3 years because it's really a lot of money. I think to get your picture taken by a professional to get a good headshot is around probably $450. So it's a lot of money, but it's money well spent. And if you divide that over 3 years, it's not expensive at all. Your resume is easy now to keep it updated because it's always on your computer, in your Word, and so you can just keep adding on the plays or adding on whatever you're doing to the resume. So that's a lot easier to update. So a lot of times you'll see an old picture but a new resume, and the resume is important to keep updated too. Because the other thing is that for our job, once we're hired, we're not working forever. So it's not like being a teacher or a bus driver or the President of the United States. Well, it kind of is President of the United States because you only have so much time. For example, when I did Hello, Dolly, I got cast as Dolly, and the very next day I had to look to see where I could work after Hello, Dolly had closed because we ran it for 6 months, and I thought, what am I going to do after 6 months? So an actor's life is not easy because you have to keep looking for work, and sometimes you can't find work. So that's why you see a lot of actors waitressing or, I teach voice, so that's my secondary job, and I love doing that. So.
Well, speaking of that, what is it exactly like being an actor?
It's fun. The best part about it, I think, is that you change people's lives. You do a show, and if you're really smart as an actor, you go out there every single night to a live audience knowing they haven't seen what you're going to present. Or if they have seen the show, they haven't seen it the way you're going to do it. And the way that you communicate that through the script, through the story, sometimes changes people's lives of how they think about things or how they would react. It makes them happy. Sometimes it makes them sad, but it always makes people think. And I think that's the most cool thing about being an actor, is you really can change lives.
So, do you have a summer camp?
Why, I'm so glad you mentioned that. As a matter of fact, yes, we do. Chanhassen Theater has a musical summer camp, which is so fun. It's a blast. It's a week-long camp, but it goes through the summer, runs through the summer from June until August, so you can pick whatever week you want. We do a full-day camp where you can we write our own musical, and this year we're going to write it on Hans Christian Andersen, who Disney uses a lot. Frozen is based on Hans Christian. Yep. And do you know any others that are based? So a lot of Disney stuff is based on Hans Christian Andersen stories. So we're going to use some of his stories that haven't been done yet as Disney stories. Rosebud and Snow White and those kind of things, and write our own musical, and we do it in a week. And the kids write it, which is really fun, and the teachers are all people that are actual actors in the dinner theater. So we get really good professional people that actually teach the camps. And then there's half-day camps, which are really fun, and you get to sing. We always pick a composer, and then we work on their songs and dances and acting for that. And after that, then it's then we put it on at the end of the week, and it's just a blast.
I forgot what I was going to say.
That's okay, because I could keep talking forever and ever about camp. It's a good time.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Bluff Creek Podcast Radio, encouraging you to connect with someone new today.
Boy, you two are good. You should be actors.